Now, the church, as Fran mentioned, was in a bit of an upheaval because in 1560 the Reformation came to Scotland and reorganized the beliefs and reorganized the church. So as well as being in a bit of a spiritual turmoil where you suddenly weren't allowed to pray to Saint Magnus and the other saints anymore, you're also in an organizational upheaval where they're getting rid of bishops, and sometimes they think they are going to have a bishop and they're not going to have a bishop, and they're rearranging how the power structures in the church work. So they organize them in presbyteries, in the Presbyterian church, with local kirk sessions. And these are the church courts, the assemblies of 15 powerful old men who pass judgment on these mostly women who are accused of witchcraft. The east of Scotland is much more strongly affected by the witchcraft trials. It's from the south borders, Edinburgh, and all the way up through Aberdeen and up to Orkney, the Scots-speaking areas. That's where we find the witchcraft trials, whereas in the Highlands and Gaelic-speaking West, they don't seem to be as worried about witches as we were over here. So the witches would have been tried, and they would have been held in the Marwick's Hole dungeon or in the castle or in Tolbooth, and there they were given no comforts. They were not given any food or drink. The family would have to bring that in for them, which was difficult if you came from Westry, like Janet Forsyth or Rousey, or Hoy, or anywhere in the country really. You wouldn't have anybody here to feed you, and you were deprived of sleep too. So there you're starving and you've not slept, and after a week of this, you're sort of ready to confess even without any torture. What sort of things did they confess to? Lately I've read through a whole lot of these records from these trials, and they're confessed of things. They are accused of things that seem quite bizarre to us today. One of them is like turning into an animal, like that cat. I wonder who that was. There's one trial record where somebody's accused of turning into a bee. And the reason is that she was able to know exactly what was said at a dinner party that she hadn't attended. So how could she know that unless she turned herself into a bee? Now that is a strange echo of one of the things that got the King James so scared about witches. He heard from Agnes Sampson, one of the North Berwick witches, that she had turned into a fly and been present at his wedding feast in Denmark and heard the things that he and his newly wedded wife whispered to one another.
In bed.
In bed, even.
And nobody, how else could anyone know that?
No, exactly, she must have been a witch. Yeah. And then there are more trivial things that we today would understand as conflicts between neighbours. So there was, for example, a terrible conflict between some neighbours out in Berkshire, where the accused witch seems to come to her neighbours' doors and ask for food, and they don't like her and they refuse to let her in, and then she's angry and upset with them and gives them a dirty look and goes away. Now the husband of the house falls ill the next day. That is of course caused by that dirty look and her ill wish. Yeah. And then you get people who are trying to do good. They're trying to cure other people and animals. So sometimes the people get well, and at other times they don't get well and they die. But in either case, they can be accused of witchcraft. So you'll hear like the witch heated up. The witch heated up 3 stones on the hearth, and then put the stones in the doorway on the threshold for a whole night. This is about fire and liminal spaces being sacred. And then put the stones in water, and then wash the patient with that water. So there's a trial where a woman is said to have done that to several people, I think 4 or 5 people, and some of them got well and others of them died. But she's really just trying her best to cure them. But she's brought in for trial. Yeah, or giving herbs and herbal medicine and chanting, and the chants and spells involve the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. So they're kind of Christian spells in a way, but that doesn't matter. They're still tried for witchcraft. And I've got completely off my notes. Yeah. Oh yes. We were going to talk about Marable Cooper. Marable was tried in 1620, and she's accused of killing a neighbor's cow and taking the profit from the milk of another cow. Taking the profit means that you're taking all the fat, all the good stuff out of the milk, so the milk is hopeless and runny, and when you're trying to churn the butter, it won't turn into butter. So this is from Marable's trial record. David and Margaret Mowat had 3 cows, but one died when she calved. The second cow calved a calf, but she never gave milk. And the third cow, for 4 years past, never took bull, so that means the cow never got pregnant. And at the following Beltane, she, Margaret, had 1 cow and 2 young cattle that died. You, Marable, did not only do these things by your witchcraft and devilry, but you made it public that you had the skill to do these things, which rank which you cannot deny. And another case was Annie Taylor from Sandy, and she's interrogated too in the same way. And you see in these trials how the people interrogating them have their minds set against the victim from the start. They have kind of decided already that they're guilty and they're just looking for evidence. So poor Annie Taylor, she has no defense for herself. She just said, I don't know what to say. And these are her words from the trial record. She denied not, but said she was uncouth and wist not what to say. That means I'm ignorant and I just don't know what to say. So then she was guilty. So the church really thought that they were doing the right thing, because to them the devil was real and it made sense to try and find the people who were in league with the devil. But today we find this barbaric. Yeah.
What it is, it's a whole catalogue of people making errors in terms of causes and effect.
Yeah.
And one of the things we're trying to get people to think of is, do we still do that today? So
Yeah.
we think about it. It's too easy to look back on these people and say, how stupid, or how evil, or the church was corrupt, or the state was corrupt, or these people were corrupt, or it was men against women, or something like that. And actually, what you had was you just had a whole system. Everything was part of the system. Everything fed into it. But they weren't really giving due thought to their cause and effect of how things happen. And that's something to bear in mind as well.
Yeah.
If you'd like to come with me, I'm going to show you the final leg of the journey of the condemned woman.